So that 8% number is not arbitrary. So let's put in 500 for periodic payments. I'm gonna do it for 40. I'm doing it monthly, so frequency is 12. Voila, that's your answer. Do not look at that. Look at the left-hand formula when you're in the setup mode. So if I save that way, 40 years from now, I'm going to end up having about $750,000. That's a fancy way of saying $1,750,000. Or alternatively, if I'm saving all of those, what is that equivalent to money right now? So if your bank gave you two options, I'm going to give you $500 a month, every month for the next 40 years, or I'm going to give you almost $72,000 right now. Which one do you pick? And you should be, since I round things up, you should be indifferent. If they told you that you could get a lump sum of 80,000, you should go with the 80,000. Okay? This present value of lump sum, I give it to you now, obviously, is 80. Present value of the alternative is only 71. You can make that decision if you ever hit the jackpot in those lotteries. You either get it now or you get it in 29 equal installments. Since you're unlikely to be in that situation, but if you are, you can use this spreadsheet to make that decision. All right, so that's the simple part. Given the inputs, you can read off either the future value or the present value when you are in setup mode. Now we're going to actually start doing the somewhat more difficult stuff. Suppose you're going to buy a car. The car is worth $25,000 cash, and you can get 7-year financing at 4.99%. What is your monthly payment? Okay, in this problem, what are the things I know? I know the length of the annuity, 7 years. I know the compounding frequency, 12. I know the interest rate, 4.99. I don't know what payment is, okay? There's no balloon payment, so it's 0. But I also know the present value of this annuity, because that's the value of the car now. So first and foremost, I need to decide what am I doing, present value or future value. Well, I'm doing present value, so I ain't gonna do nothing over there. And second, I know the present value, so I'm gonna enter that. My APR is 4.99, frequency 12, it's a 7-year loan. I don't know the payments right now, balloon payment is 0. As of now, I'm still in the setup mode. This basically says, if I'm paying $500 a month for this car loan, I should be able to buy a car that's worth $35,387, right? But that's not the car I'm buying. So I don't know what the payment is. Now we're gonna put ourselves into solver mode, okay? You double click on that red light, you're in solver mode. It actually solved it for you, because periodic payment was already my unknown. If it wasn't, I could have picked it from here, okay? Oops. So given my target, that's the present value, what is the value of the unknown variable that satisfies, that makes the left-hand side of the formula equal to the target value. That's another way of saying solve this equation, following equation. 25,000 is equal to PV of 4.99% divided by 12, 7 times 12, negative $B, and 0. That's the problem we need to solve. That is not a difficult problem to solve algebraically, but hey, the Occam's razor. If you have two or more ways of doing things, choose the simple one. Also known as the principle of parsimony. And my modern way of saying it, if you have two ways of doing things, choose the sexy way, okay? Come on, is there anything better than this? Instead of, doing the ugly formulas. By the way, I also came up with a nickname for this spreadsheet. I call it the Thor's hammer. There are two reasons that I call it Thor's hammer. One, you need to deserve to be able to use Thor's hammer. That means you'll get an understanding of what sort of things it can do, what are what. And two, hammer is a tool. When you have hammer, you're gonna just look up for nails, okay? I'm gonna give you a lot of different kind of nails. While you got the hammer, you're just gonna hit that hammer, you're done. Now let's ask a different problem. And a lot of car dealers do that. You go and you wanna buy a certain car. They don't ask you anything about they don't tell you anything about the car. The first question they ask you, how much you can afford, okay? So either they're gonna stick it to you in the car price or they're gonna stick it to you in financing. It's not that easy to stick it to you in car price because when you sign the contract, you know exactly what that car is worth, but nobody actually looks up the financing rate or even understand what that means. Suppose you told the guy that you can afford $500 in payments, okay? And he said, okay, I'm gonna sell you this car, and the car is $25,000. What is the financing rate he's charging him? And by the way, these sleazy car salesmen are almost always men. I mean, I had my best experience with both used and new cars with female salespeople. They don't treat you like you're an idiot. One guy tried to do that trick on me. I said, oh, by the way, I teach finance for a living. And the guy said, man, there goes my commission because I can't fool this guy. And so at this point, I know the value of the car, I know the payments, I know the length, I know frequency, I know the balloon. What I don't know is what interest they are charging me. So I'm gonna pick my unknown. Remember, for this sort of stuff, I need to be in solver mode. So I got the green light. This spreadsheet is designed so that if value of any specifically designated cells change, solver is triggered, okay? Or the goal seek is triggered. If I change a value here, nothing happens. And if you do something like on a Friday, I'll show you guys how to do it. It's actually pretty good. You want things to change or certain things to happen if the spreadsheet changes. So I'm going to go ahead and make my unknown the APR because that's what I don't know. Nothing changed over there except that rose colored cell is on the APR now. I basically set it up so that the cell for the unknown has a rose color background, you can do something called conditional formatting, and that also could depend on the formula. Again, it is not anything other than cosmetic, but if you're using the spreadsheet, it may not be a bad idea to say, okay, that's what I don't know, right? Now, I mean, if the payments are $353.23, the APR is $499. We had just done that, but now I'm saying I'm paying $500. Well, that's the rate they're charging, right? May not be a bad idea to check that sometimes. That's the numerical difference between the left and the right. For the sort of problems we're going to deal with, it's a non-issue. But if you're using this for relatively nonlinear, highly nonlinear functions, you want to make sure that the underlying iterative algorithm actually reaches the solution. Because they have a stopping rule, either it's close enough or maximum number of trials exceeded. Sometimes for difficult problems, you need to look at that. This is your tolerance. Again, for the kind of problems we're going to deal with, 1, even 100 is good enough. That's an error of 1 part in a million.